Good morning, folks. Happy Monday. I know for most of us, it's kind of a blur. I'd like to announce that, as some of you heard, I may have mentioned I'm alone in my house. My family is away, and so I've been alone for about 3 weeks. And so I want to announce to my wife, if she reads this, that I cleaned all the bathrooms this weekend, including the vanities and the toilets, and scrubbed the grout. So toilets and vanities and all that stuff are not in my typical wheelhouse, but all things are very clean in our house. So if she's watching, I want to just make that announcement. So on to more important things, certainly. I've been talking about masks for a while, and specifically masks to go for the residents, and I've been promising these washable masks, which still haven't come in. But I can tell you that we got another bunch of our homemade masks today. They were made both by Lily Wong, the lovely Lily you saw on Friday, and Lisa O'Reilly, who works in our health center. So we're going to be giving those out today, both here and at Gate Circle. Excuse me. So just about everybody, I think everybody that's on our current list from a resident perspective will, by the end of the day, have been given a mask. And for here that's been about 85 residents will receive a mask that were on our list. And about 25 residents at Gate Circle will receive a mask. So we'll be going around and giving those out later today. And again, if there's any additional residents, both here in Gate Circle, that would like a mask that don't have one, I would encourage you not to hoard your own mask. You know, you really don't need several, especially if they're washable. But if you don't have one at all, and you're not on our list currently, please don't hesitate to call the front desk at both locations. And we're in a position now with the amount of homemade masks that are coming in that we probably will have the ability to get you one very soon. I get a bunch of questions every time I do one of these town halls, and typically it's from family members who maybe they tune in intermittently, or maybe it's the first time they've tuned in to specific questions about our processes. So I thought that I would re-review those. Hopefully those folks are watching. I always try to point people to the town halls because I feel like cumulatively we're able to give a lot of information away or share a lot of information with our audience. So I want to go back to reviewing what are some of our basic safety processes at both sites for residents and people coming in. So the processes are pretty much the same at both sites. The difference, of course, is the security guard that we have positioned on this campus at the main entrance. That started last Thursday, and that's going to continue for the time being. So that's the difference. Again, we did that because this is a much bigger campus, a lot harder to lock down, so to speak. There is no security person outside at Gate Circle. From there, here in Williamsville, first you have to get by the security guard. You have to be a staff member, you have to be a resident, and if you have to be a commercial vendor that we know is coming, or you have to be a carrier companion aid that's on our list that we have with that security guard, somebody who's going to be providing care for our independent living residents. So that's your ticket into the community here. Once you get past that, which is similar both here and at Gate Circle, at this point, you have to come in the front door. So all of the other doors here in Williamsville are locked on the outside, meaning a key fob does not open them. So a resident, a staff member, somebody else that may have a stray key fob would not be able to get in, for instance, an outside door at Cambridge or Lexington, etc. Everybody has to come in the main entrance. Once you come in the main entrance, there are a series of signs and so on, but the first thing you'll see is a station with somebody or multiple people who are there to kind of process you for lack of a better term. And it's, you have to sit actually for 5 minutes to regulate your temperature. Once you are done regulating your temperature, you have to fill out a form. And the forms are similar throughout the country, kind of asking about your recent history, exposure, travel, etc. You fill that out, you sign your name, then your temperature is taken by that same person. It's recorded on that form and it's filed. If your temperature is above 100 degrees, you are asked to leave. And as simple as that. It's kind of a no ifs, ands, or buts. If we have to follow, and it goes for staff or anybody else, if we have to follow up with staff members later in the day, we will do that, but it's really a no argument zone when we made that very, very clear, especially to our staff members. So once your temperature is taken, it's okay by the person that's doing it, you actually get a little mark on your hand, and we have a color of the day system so that wherever you go in the community that day, all a supervisor or manager would have to do to make sure that you were actually checked, and this is staff members only, is to look at the back of your hand, and they would know, yeah, that this person was checked. From the time somebody comes into that door, they have to have a mask on. Now, residents are the exception. We're encouraging residents, obviously, to wear masks at all times, and I'm going to continue to encourage that when they're outside of their apartment. But staff members have to have a mask on immediately to go through the community. Healthcare, folks that work in the health center are given masks right there. So they come in, they get their temperature taken, they're actually given a mask. Keep in mind what I've been saying, our health center workers get a new mask at every shift, a disposable mask. For obvious reasons, because they have to wear that mask no matter where they are in the health center. They also have to wear it when they come off the health center. So that mask gets soiled on that per shift. So that's why we go through over 100 masks a day just for our health center workers, because they get a new one, a new disposable mask at the beginning of every shift, and or if their mask gets soiled during the time that they're working. I want to reiterate as well that there are currently, again, no visitors outside of essential staff and essential vendors that go on to in our health center at Oxford, here in Williamsville, or our health center in Gate Circle. So that's been in place. It's been almost 6 weeks now that's been in place, which is pretty remarkable. And so the residents that live within our health centers, they do not get visitors. They haven't gotten visitors for 6 weeks, and so they're regularly communicating, some of them almost on a daily basis, through electronic means, whether it's their phone, whether it's FaceTime, whether it's Skype, whether it's Zoom. We're really working with individual residents and family members to set up what makes the most sense for those folks. And it continues to happen almost on a daily basis. I also want to say that we thorough clean the buildings, specifically the high-touch areas, every single day. I know that's always a question. So as our cleaning staff goes through the buildings, we have specific maintenance staff, we have other staff members that's pretty much all they do is move through the buildings, both here in Williamsville and at Gate Circle, attending to high-touch areas along with the regular cleaning. So a high-touch area is a doorknob, a push bar on a door, could be a handrail, could be areas around a doorknob that people kind of push on. It could be, and we've identified some very specific areas, both within the health centers and of course in independent living, that we clean on an ongoing basis. And then you've heard me talk about the swab testing that we do, going around and doing touch points to make sure that we're doing what needs to be done there. From a resident perspective, of course, within the process, the residents themselves can go out any door of the community here in Williamsville. In Gate Circle, we only really have one point of entrance and exit. But here in Williamsville, they can actually push through any of the doors in their individual their individual villages. Obviously, that's for safety standpoint, because we can't lock them down should an emergency alarm go off. So they do that, but they, as I said, they just can't get back in that door, so they do have to come in the front door. And that again is to tighten up the community, making sure that random folks, making sure the staff can't use their fobs to circumvent the security system that we've put into place. And it's worked, it's worked pretty well. Here in Williamsville and at Gate Circle, one of the things that we've done, which I know is an inconvenience to some residents, but we think it's been pretty effective, is we've removed most of the furniture from the common areas and actually locked certain rooms that residents gathered in. We've done that so we don't have to continue to reiterate with residents not to congregate together. Again, I apologize for having to take those steps. We started that early on, so it isn't new, and most of the residents are used to it by now. Those things aren't done lightly, but we've seen them be effective in not encouraging or giving residents the opportunity to hang around with each other. So those are our processes. Obviously, we have a lot more. If you continue to have questions on them, again, please don't hesitate to email me. It's rwallace, WALLACE, @echa.org. I want to finish on a high note, something that, a positive. I want to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Jim Chirkauer, and hopefully I got that right, Mr. Chirkauer. Today's his 98th birthday, and so his daughter Debbie Hammond wanted to offer him a happy birthday today. Jim's wife Anita is in skilled nursing, and she's doing well, and Jim's doing well as well. But he's 98 years old today, Mr. Chirkauer. And this is the first birthday that he has ever spent alone, according to his daughter. So he's really not alone because he has this community with him, both him and his wife. And we want him to stay well, just like we want all of our residents to stay well. So, Mr. Chirkauer, happy 98th birthday to you. Thank you.